Hey, beautiful people. So I am Tanaya. Welcome to Career Uplift. If you don't know who I am a career advisor and I show you how to align your career plan with God's plan to maximize your job search results. And in today's video, I'm going to go through 5 jobs that are hiring within California that are remote. And also, I'll be working on dropping 5 jobs each week to just help you find some remote positions if that's what you're looking for. However, it won't be fully all the time remote because if I see good opportunities out there, I am definitely going to share them with you. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Now, before we get into it, do me a favor. Please like and subscribe and set your bell notification for me so that way you are aware when I'm posting these great opportunities and you don't miss out on them for your job search. Okay. All right, let's get into it. So the first job that I have is with the Foundation for California Community Colleges. If you have not heard of this organization, this is an organization that you definitely want to put on your radar. And the reason being is because they are a remote first organization. So that means all of the jobs are pretty much remote unless they mention it in the job description, and they're for California residents, y'all. So they are for us Cali people that live here. This is the place that you want to make sure you are checking in on their website often. So that way, you know when a new position has dropped. They have different programs because they get grants and contract with California community colleges and different programs. So if you don't see something right away, that's fine. Just keep coming back because they're always having fresh new programs that come out, and they range from entry level customer service to more expert level, which is the job that we're getting into today. So for this one, it is a senior specialist apprenticeship workforce development. This is a full-time role, and it shows you here that it is 70% remote within California and 30% travel in California. So this is not a full remote. There is some, but you will be traveling. So just get that in your mind. If you are not a person that wants to travel at all, this job is probably not for you. Now, in this role, you will be speaking. Oh, wait, I forgot to tell y'all. So the salary for this position is between 82,000 and 83,000 a year. And so that's how you know you need to have some experience for this position. In this role, you'll actually be working with K-12 schools, apprenticeship programs, and workforce development systems. And basically, you're serving as a consultant, a subject matter expert. So you're showing people how to, or organizations, businesses, schools, how to get an apprenticeship program set up, and then how to manage those deliverables and get those. So you need to have experience in developing pathways. And so you're going to be planning and organizing meetings, doing workshops and training events. You'll also have to give advice about setting up the apprenticeship program. So keep that in mind. That's a key area of expertise that you want to highlight in your resume. And then you want to be able to explain to them how they can get funding and then also how to manage their grants. So as I mentioned, you're going to be serving as a consultant. And the key things that you want to have is you definitely want to make sure that you're highlighting your deep knowledge of apprenticeship, pre-apprenticeship, and work-based learning models is required. So you see there, it says required. So heavy on that. If you have done this in your experience, if you have worked with a community college as a work-based learning, as a workforce development specialist, and so you know how to structure a program, highlight that. If you know how to get a school from point A to point B with a pathway, highlight that. Everything workforce development you want to highlight and you want to go in. And then I want to give you a tip too. I almost forgot to share that with you. You can take this because I know some of y'all are using ChatGPT, right? But we want to use it responsibly and we want to make sure that we are not just copying and pasting. So you can actually copy this job description and then put the ChatGPT prompt, what skills are good for this position? or what skills are good to have for this position, and then paste the job description after that prompt and hit enter, and it will pull out some skills that you'll want to highlight in your resume. Now, with this job and all the jobs that I mentioned, moving forward, do a cover letter. Put a cover letter in there and put your resume. The reason why I'm recommending a cover letter, because that is going to set you apart. Now, you may hear out there are people that will say, do not do a cover letter. No recruiter reads it. We're not dealing with that. We're doing cover letters, okay? That's what we're doing. We are doing cover letters because we want to be different, okay? Whether they read them or not, that's their issue. We are doing cover letters, okay? All right, so that's the job here. So this one I think is a great opportunity for you if you have deep experience in workforce development and you've had success. So when you're putting together your resume, make sure that you are specific, you're quantifying your achievements, you are putting numbers, you are showing what grants you've managed and the outcomes of those grants. If you can give specific numbers that are not confidential, how much was the grant that you had to oversee? Did you have to bring in staff for that grant? Did you have to oversee project timelines? Highlight all of that, everything that you can think of. Go through this job description so you have that information. And if you're not sure how, if you're using ChatGPT, I would highly recommend, and I'll put it in the description box, my ultimate job search toolkit, because that has a resume template and ChatGPT prompts that will make sure that your resume will be you, a part of you, and not a part of ChatGPT. Because if you just post this in, if you use this job description and put it in ChatGPT and say, create a resume for me, everybody else that is doing that will have the same resume and the recruiter will know. Okay. So that will disqualify you. So don't do that. Okay. All right. Let's go on to our next job. So this one is still with the Foundation for California Community Colleges. And this is a case manager community impact. So remember, I was telling you in the beginning that this organization has different programs. So that's why they're always hiring, because they're getting grants for different programs and funding for just various programs. Now, this is a case manager community impact for their community impact program. It is 100% remote, right? But as I mentioned, you must reside in California. So you, from the Cali people, once again, have to reside in California, right? And so if you're in California and looking to move to another state and say, oh, I can work this job, it's not going to happen. You have to be and stay a California resident. And then the pay rate on this one is $24 an hour. And so basically what you're doing in this role is you are a case manager in their Replace Your Ride or Clean Assistance Program project. And so what this basically is it's an incentive program for California residents that want to replace their old vehicle with a newer emissions-friendly vehicle. And so you would be handling the case management for this position. You would have to conduct in-depth assessments. So you're going to have to assess the eligibility of the applicant. You're going to be connecting the applicant with dealerships and then also other resources within the community. And then you have to ensure that you follow up with them as necessary. So that's something you want to highlight in your resume. And then you want to make sure that you're keeping accurate records, that you know how to document the outcomes from you working with the applicants. So some of the skills you want to highlight in this is your case management experience. So if you think of someone, because I work with individuals that have worked for like veterans, right? And so when you think about that, is put your mind in, okay, as a case manager, what did I do in that role? How many participants did I see on a daily basis or on a monthly basis? And then what was the caseload that I had to oversee? And then what was the process of me managing that caseload? That's what you want to highlight. You want to highlight your case management experience. And this just does not go to the human services field because you might have worked in customer service and you managed a caseload in customer service or any field really. So you can highlight that as well. You just want to show them that you've overseen a caseload. And I'll give you an example. I worked as a career services advisor and I managed a caseload of recent graduates. So I had to manage that caseload from beginning to end. So when they were going out for their extern sites and then also to ensure that they got hired. So that's the outcome. And then I had to document those things. So you figure out, okay, have I ever done case management? What does that look like? And then you're explaining it to them. And as I said before, and I'll say often, make sure that you are quantifying that information. And then they also said they want you to have knowledge and experience working with Salesforce or similar CRM systems. So for me, I take that as if you're not familiar with, and that's a customer relationship management system, right? But you can think about maybe there's a case management system you've used and you want to highlight that because that housed all of the information for the client. And so that's where you had to document the status. You had to review the documents that they submitted. You had to just monitor the progress. And one of the things I think of too, a person that would be good for this role is if you've ever done any work as like an eligibility worker, maybe for healthcare or for the county. This, I think you would fit good in this position. So that would be good. You want to highlight your customer service experience as well, because you'll be dealing with applicants, you'll be dealing with dealerships, you'll be dealing with people within the community. So you want to make sure that they see that aspect of, yes, I handle case management, but I've also handled customer service. So this is a good position that I would recommend that you apply to. And they do offer benefits. They have tuition reimbursement. They're part of the public service loan forgiveness certified employer. So if you have loans and you've been making payments, if you're working for this company, then you might qualify for loan forgiveness. So definitely apply to this one if you meet the qualifications. All right, next up for my Cali people. Okay, do you guys remember Jacoby and Myers commercials? I haven't seen them in a while, but they've been around forever. So they're hiring for a remote position. It's an intake specialist. And this is a remote position. It says location fully remote. And they are paying between $20 to $25 an hour. And they have here plus bonus incentive of 1,000K per month based on signups. And so it is a full-time shift. Keep in mind that they have overtime and then there's weekends. So kind of be prepared. You might have to work weekends. There might be overtime. Kind of keep that in mind. But basically in this position, it's more of sales focused. So for those of you that have sales experience, that you love performance-based and performance-driven environments, this is probably the position for you. I would definitely recommend that if you like those type of environments, to go for this one. So your initial contact is going to be with people that were injured. And so I think a good part of it too is being empathetic. So maybe showing that you have empathy, active listening skills. That's something you want to highlight as well. So you're going to listen to their situation. And the thing that they want you to do is they want you to convert 95% of qualified prospective clients into retained clients. So that's where that sales aspect comes in at. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight, it says this role is a frontline, personally speaking people coming to us for help at a time in which they are most vulnerable and need legal assistance. And so, what you're going to hear from people that call in, I have been injured in a car accident. How do I get to work? I'm in pain and I don't know where to turn. How do I get my kids to school? That's where you come in. So, you're basically trying to listen to these stories and listen to what's happened to the clients, potential clients, and then determine, okay, how can the law firm help them? And that's where that's where you're sales skills come in. Now, one of the things to note, there's no cold calling. I know that a lot of positions in sales, they require you to cold call. No, all leads have asked them to contact, as has asked Jacoby and Myers to contact them. And so that's why you're calling, because this is, so basically it's like a warm lead. And so you're doing the initial contact, and then you're listening to their situation, and you're recommending why the law firm is a good fit. You're going to be conducting follow-ups with this. And then also, you want to highlight your sales experience, your customer service experience, and they do want you to be bilingual. This says bilingual fluency in Spanish is required. So make sure you're putting that you are bilingual on there. And then this gives you idea of the requirements that they have. They're going to do some training, because you don't have to know like all the legal terminology. They did mention in this job description that they would be training here. So that's so you can stay updated on procedures, terminology, and best practices for client interaction. And then let's see, conflict resolution. If you can highlight that in your resume, pretty much all of this, if you can highlight it, that would be great. But if it's, heavy on the sales, heavy on the customer service, so that way you're explaining and you're quantifying that information as well, of how you meet the position's requirements. I think this is a really good position if you definitely, especially if you want to get into the legal field. I know some people could be studying to be a paralegal, and so this might be a great opportunity to just get your foot in the door and work in this aspect as well. Or if you just want to do sales and you want to grow in your sales career, it would be a great opportunity. All right. All right. So next up, we have Local Garage Doors, and they are based in El Dorado Hills, California. And they are looking for a remote service operations coordinator. And this is a organization. I haven't heard about this organization, but when I went to their website, I mean, they seem like they service a lot of people in the community. So don't know, but do your research on the organization and make sure that it's the right fit for you. Definitely pray. But they're paying $18 to $28 an hour. They also offer vision, medical, dental, paid time off. And so for this position, you'll work behind the scenes. You're going to answer calls, book appointments. You are going to do scheduling. So it tells you here like what they expect in your first 90 days. And you're going to be checking paperwork and photos and just doing like phone, text, email. So serving is like somewhat like a dispatcher, but you're making sure that the process is seamless from the time that you speak with the customer. You're handling all of those touch points from the time that you speak with the customer till you dispatch them and assign the right technician, and then basically they're off to do the job. And then you're looking at the pictures that were taken, making sure that payment was received, because here it says payment follow-up. So you're securing the credit card, and then you're making sure that you're keeping accurate records of everything that took place. And so it does provide here what you'll thrive if you. And so treat KPIs like a high score you plan to beat. So they want someone that is performance driven, that is excited to be on the phones, interact with customers. Like customer service is just your thing. They did say they wanted someone bilingual in English and Spanish. It's a plus, but I think if you come out the gate with just excellent customer service and showing how you meet these customer service skills, I think you'll get, you'll be good. And they also show here that there is paid training and growth path to senior coordinator or dispatch lead. So if you're a person that is looking for a place where you can grow, this might be a place to look into. Now, for them to apply, they want you to record a quick video, 60 seconds, and they tell you how you can do that, but they want you to introduce yourself, your name, location, and a line about your customer service background. Your number one phone handling tip: what it is, why it works, and a real example of using it. So that's when you definitely have to think about your experience and the problems you've solved. And maybe the if you worked in customer service and you achieved great metrics, then definitely highlight, okay, how did you achieve those metrics, right? Like what was something that you did? Now, for me, because I've worked in call center environments so long and I've had to advance in that and even working with clients in my business, I think for me, it's just the active listening skill. So that way you can identify quickly what the customer needs, and then you're offering the right solution the first time. So that's important. And of course, you word it the way you want, but they give you 60 seconds, y'all. And if you like me, I'm a talker. So that is a challenge, 60 seconds. And then they say, okay, process win. You get 10 seconds for that story. I'm like, I need 2 minutes for all of this. Okay. But I mean, I would say do it. Like they want, I mean, it says how to apply, record a quick video. So it doesn't seem like it's optional. They want that video. So do that. And most people probably won't do it. And then they want a bonus, which is optional, 5 seconds, a fun fact that shows your personality. That one I feel like would be hard for me because I don't know of a fun fact. Like I am an introvert and I just like watching Netflix and like I go for walks, so think about your little fun fact and then go from there. And then make sure you're following the instructions. So, remote service operations coordinator in the subject line with your name. And then you're going to email the video link along with your resume to this email. And I'll put the link to the jobs that I'm showing here today within the description. So you'll have that. Okay, so that is for that one. And then our last job that we have. Now, did you guys know about this company? And am I late to the party? Because there is a temporary agency. They do direct hire, contract work, and just different, like I guess they're a staffing company. It's called Russell Tobin. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but did you guys know about this place? I had no idea that this place even existed. Well, anyways, they have and drop it in the comments if you've heard of this company, if you've worked for them, because I'm curious to see. So I was looking on their website, and I'm going to put the link to their website and the link to this job because when you click on their website and you click on the job, it takes you to a different link. So I'm going to make sure that I include both for you. But basically, if you're in between jobs and you're looking for something until you find something permanent, or you can be in between jobs and just want to work contract work, that's fine. This is a position. It's a remote compliance and photo review associate slash logistics compliance and data analyst. That is a mouthful. It is remote, as they mentioned, and in this, I believe this is working about 35 hours per week, and the pay rate is 25 to $27 an hour. It's about 4 to 5 months long. And so, what I gathered from this position is that you're basically going to be organizing and reviewing delivery photos and just making sure that the delivery goes seamless for their company. That's what I got from it. It wasn't very extensive, but that's kind of what I got the just from it. Just from this, you're monitoring and support successful delivery fulfillment. So that's what I got from it. So you're checking photos, you are reaching out to the drivers and customers if like directions are not clear, and then you're providing feedback to the drivers if the photos are not clear. And then you're solving delivery issues. So you are being proactive, you're identifying issues in workflow and delivery process workflow, and you're saying, okay, I think we could do this better next time. What they do require is that you have basic proficiency in Excel, Google Sheets, formulas, formatting, and data entry. Y'all be honest with yourself because I was recently asked like what my comfort level with Excel was. And after giving it some thought, they said on a scale from 1 to 5, I said 2 because I know me. I mean, I did it with my MBA program, but I need to practice it more. So if you know that this is not your thing, then you think about this job. Okay. Think about. And then they also want familiarity. Woo, that word with pivot tables. So I don't even know if I know how to do pivot tables, and that's going to be in Excel. So just kind of keep this in mind. And if this is a thing that you have and you're experiencing in, make sure you're highlighting it and which jobs you've had to use the heavy Excel in. And so that's all I have for you today. Make sure that you apply to these jobs this week. Okay. Don't delay. Start getting all of your stuff ready today so you can apply for this week. And don't forget to drop in the comments if you're looking for a specific type of remote position, or you want to see me highlight other positions that are remote or just in, within California. I'm only going to be focusing on California. And so going to work on companies that hire remote in California. If you know of companies that hire remote in California, please let me know so that way we can all benefit from it as well. And God bless y'all. And I'm rooting for you in your job search. I got you covered. Let's do this.